Opening the doors of your home, and Hari Dev and Radhika. Yes. It's a wonderful family, and I'm very happy to be invited here. I'm in the presence of many near and dear devotees. Thank you, dear devotees, for kindly being present here. Dear devotees, let's also acknowledge and give a wonderful round of applause for Rati Prabhu for his wonderful kirtan. And for Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, his son. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, alright? So, we have Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. Prabhuji, thank you for making your name successful by engaging in Krishna Kirtan. Actually, the Mridanga is the life of the Kirtan, and anybody who plays the Mridanga nicely, it is the Mridanga which makes the Kirtan actually. So sometimes I have had Mridanga players who are in their own, they are playing their own tune, they don't bother about what the singer is singing. But today we have Krishna Kirtan Prabhu who is perfectly in sync with what was being sung, dear devotees. So we should also give applause to Krishna. And I would like to thank all of you also, because without a proper audience who responds, there is no meaning to singing kirtan. How many of us have been in an assembly where we have been singing kirtan and then nobody responds after us? How many of us have been in that awkward position? Yes, Prabhu, you know Prabhu the pain, huh? One time I was invited to sing in a particular assembly. This was in Mumbai. And I sung the entire Mahamantra and I am waiting that they will respond. Nobody responded. So I had to sing after my own self. Then after the entire kirtan was over, then I told the devotees, dear devotees, there is a difference between kirtan and mehfil. You know what is mehfil? When the Mughals came to India, they introduced a new term, mehfil. Mehfil is a musical concert, where people, they sit on these, they put their hands on these cylindrical pillows and they say, wow, wow, what a song. Huh? And after mehfil comes farmaish. Many of us know what is farmaish. Demanding that requesting this song should be sung. So there is a difference between mehfil and kirtan. In Mehfil, the success of the program is dependent purely upon the poor singer. And in Kirtan, the success of the event is dependent not only on the singer but also the audience. So all of you were very kindly singing so nicely. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for singing so nicely. And because all of you are the audience, I'd like to thank all of you, because no program can begin without thanking the wonderful audience. So I'd like to do that, but before I do that, I'd like to begin with Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. Today we are continuing from where we left off yesterday. I'll do a small recap of what happened yesterday, but then we will continue from where we left off. Most of us know these verses, you can kindly sing along with me. Om Jnana-Tirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Samagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitan Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschasya Deshatharine Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Kushe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Gauthamanande. So once again welcome dear devotees. Thank you so much for kindly giving me the most important resource of your life. What is the most important resource in our life, dear devotees? Time. The two resources that a person has in their life, one is time and one is money. One who gains on money loses on time, and one who gains on time loses on money. So they are devotees, but amongst both these resources, there is one resource which is not renewable. Which one is that? Time. And you have kindly agreed to give me that resource of your life. You have kindly agreed to give me your time, for which I am very, very thankful. And the subject matter which is being discussed is certainly not a basic subject matter. It is something very deep and esoteric. Therefore, I am worried about my own qualification. Dear devotees, maybe you are hearing from someone who is unqualified. Have you ever considered the possibility that you came for a program but the person who is sitting on the seat was not up to the mark? What do you do? So this may be the case today, but I still have something to say to you. Alright? There is a very nice verse in a very rare Gaudiya Vaishnava literature called as Amod Mahakavyam. And this literature, in the beginning it has a very nice verse. This verse is in the meter Shikharini, same meter as Jagannath Ashtakam. I'll try to sing it. Kindly repeat after me. Kime tamad bhaktan ragurete grani tanabudha Shri Radha Braja Vidhu Gunamre Sudha Jagannath Kshetrodbhava Bhava Mahamoha Shamaka Prasadam Kakasya Galitamapi Vishnu Skyajatika Meter is Shikharini. Dear devotees, the name of the meter should fit in the meter. This is a rule in Sanskrit poetry. Meter is Shikharini. The name of the literature, Gaudiya Vaishnava literature, from where this verse is taken, is called Amod Mahakavyam. It is a very rare literature written by a Gaudiya Vaishnava who appeared in the disciplic succession of Gadadhar Pandit. The devotees, his name is Shri Anup Narayan Bhattacharya, and this is perhaps the only literature that he wrote. I got one copy of it in Vrindavan and I managed to digitize it. This verse is very nice. Dear devotees, he says, Kim eta madvakra niragur. Are this katha is coming from my mouth. Are all of you willing to take the risk? Iti grihinita na buddha. Will the intelligent people accept this katha of elevated subject matters coming from a person like me, a crow-like person like me? Please tell me, Rati Prabhu, yes or no? No, he said no. You spoke the truth. No problem. But please hear. Nibaddha. This katha consists of descriptions of Shri Radha Vrajavidhu Gunam Redana Sudha. These are descriptions of the tattva and pastimes of Shri Radha Krishna. Therefore, even if it is coming from a crow like me, still all of you will accept it. This is my confidence. Why? An example is given. Jagannath Kshetra. In Jagannath Puri, there is one thing which Jagannath Puri is very famous for. What is Jagannath Puri famous for? Prasad. Jagannath Kshetra Udbhava. Something is produced in Jagannath Puri and it is Bhava Maha Moha Shamaka. It extinguishes the pangs of material existence. And what is that in the last line? What is the first term? Prasada. Dear devotees, if Jagannath Prasad falls from the mouth of a crow, still, don't the intelligent people accept Jagannath Prasad? Yes or no? Yes. So this katha is Jagannath Prasad, and consider it to be falling from the mouth of a crow. Because the katha is so potent, even if it is falling from the mouth of a crow, won't all of you accept it? See, you accepted that I am a crow. Thank you very much. So this is the translation. So, Prabhuji, Acharya Nish Prabhu.
Translation. Just because these verses containing nectarian repetitions of the divine qualities of Shri Radha Krishna have come from the mouth of a lowly soul such as myself, will the learned souls not hear them? They will certainly listen to these repetitions. Which saintly soul will avoid consuming the Lord's Mahaprasad, cooked in Jagannath Puri, even if such Mahaprasad has fallen from the mouth of a crow? Indeed, such Mahaprasad is fully capable of destroying the great illusion of material existence.
So dear devotees, this is the reason why I love to preserve these texts. There are so many jewels hidden within so many of these rare literature. Every verse is like a jewel in such literature. But dear devotees, this is my condition. I will once again introduce the topic, dear devotees, with a quote by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says something, please repeat.
The snake is very crooked.
Yeah, it is said.
It said, Sarpa Krura.
I'll sing. Sarpa Krura Khala Krura. Sarpa Krura Tarah Khala.
The snake is very crooked and envious, and so also is a person like a demon.
Mantra Ushadi Vashah Sarpa Halakena Nivaryate.
One can bring a snake under control with mantras, herbs, and drugs, but an envious and crooked person cannot be brought under control by any means.
So, dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about cleansing the heart for a second time. There are many upashakhas remaining. Yesterday we discussed why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed the second cleansing of Gundicaa. The second cleansing is to remove the subtle anarthas from the heart. The gross anarthas in the heart, what are the gross anarthas, dear devotees? Can anybody tell me? Lust,
Pride,
anger, pride, greed, envy, Achha, amongst the gross anarthas, which one is usually considered to be the most difficult to get rid of? Lust. Lust is the Pradhan Malla, is the main wrestler. And what are the subtle anarthas, dear devotees? They are known as Upashakhas. The subtle anarthas were defined yesterday. I am just doing a small recap. Let's please sing after me. Nishiddhachar koti nati Jiva hinsana Labha puja pratishtha Yata upashakha gana. So Nishiddha achar means forbidden behavior. Secretly still performing some activities which are forbidden according to Shastra. Nishiddha achar. Kuti nati, very duplicitous and crooked dealings. Kuti nati, the term itself is crooked. Kuti nati, crooked dealings. Jiva hinsana, harming other living entities. Labha, trying to earn and save as much money as possible through the process of devotional service. Puja pratishtha, trying to get worship and fame. Yesterday we specified pratishtha is okay, but pratishtha asha is the problem. The desire to get more pratishtha. Naturally a pratishtha, whatever pratishtha comes, you can't do anything about it. Pratishtha asha is what is the problem. Yata upashakhagan. These are all the upashakhas. So once again, dear devotees, let's count how many are there. First is Nishiddhachar. Second is Kulinati. Third is Jiva Himsa. Fourth is Labh. And fifth, you can put both of them together, Puja and Pratishtha. Yesterday we dealt with the fifth one because fifth one is the Pradhan Malla, the main wrestler. Puja and Pratishtha. Today we will also have a look into the other ones, dear devotees. Let's begin with the first one. Let's take Jiva Himsa first and foremost. Nowadays there is a lot of prachar, there is a lot of propagation of living in ahimsa manner. But it is a fact that most of us do not lead a life of ahimsa. Most of us are leading a life of himsa. And I had just quoted this verse yesterday. Today I will show this verse. This verse is from the Smritis, and it is also quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita. This verse is as follows, dear devotees. Kindly repeat after me. Kandani Peshani Chulli Udakumbhi Chamarjani Panchasuna Grihasthasya Abhi Swargam Na Vindati. Panchasuna. Suna is slaughterhouse. There are 5 slaughterhouses, compulsory 5. Grihasthasya, in the home of a grihastha. What are the 5 compulsory slaughterhouses in the home of a grihastha? First, Kandani. Kandani means the mortar and pestle, which is used to grind spices, etc. Nowadays, how many of us have a mortar and pestle at home? And wow, we are saved from the first thing. Nowadays, we have mixer and grinder. So we have automated the process of slaughtering many living entities, dear devotees. This is Kandani, the first slaughterhouse in the home of a grihastha, which kills many living entities. Alright, sometimes you take entire plants and put in the mixer, and you, I hope you are able to understand, many living entities are slaughtered. Second is Peshani. Peshani, previously it is called Atta Chakki. Previously they used to have at homes, there is a stone for grinding flour. That is called Peshani. So nowadays we have exported it to Costco. So Costco does the Peshani for us, and we get the sinful reaction by giving money. Dear devotees. Third is Chulli. Chulli stove. As soon as we turn on the stove, many living entities are harmed. Fourth is Udakumbhi. Whenever we fill water, so nowadays we don't want normal water, we want purified water. How is water purified, dear devotees? Why 99.9% of the germs are supposed to be killed. And then the water also loses a lot of minerals. And because it loses a lot of minerals, it also loses a lot of taste. One time a devotee was asking me, Krishna says, I am the taste of water, but there is no taste in the water. Of course, there is no taste in the water, because there are no minerals in the water. If you go to Himalayas, and there are the river where Gangotri starts flowing, and you drink the water from there, it has all the minerals, then we will realize who Krishna is in the form of water. So actually we should, somebody who wants to translate Bhagavad Gita again, they can say, I am the taste of unprocessed water. That is how it should be put. So Udakumbhi. So as soon as we fill water, we kill many living entities. Fifth is Marjani, broom. As soon as now we don't have brooms, we have vacuum cleaners, we suck the life out of all the living entities in our home. Pancha Suna Grihasthasya. Dear devotees, these are 5 minimum slaughterhouses. We may have more, but these 5 are compulsorily present in the home of every Grihastha. Tabhi Swargam na Vindati. Because of these 5, a Grihastha does not easily attain higher planets. Prabhu, kindly read this.
There are 5 slaughterhouses maintained by a Grihastha: the mortar, the flour grinding stone, the fireplace for cooking, the water pot, and the broom. Due to maintaining these 5, the Grihastha doesn't attain Svarga.
Dear devotees, these 5 are unavoidable for the Grihastha. Unavoidable for the Grihastha, so the Grihastha can't do anything about it, but the Grihastha can do some remedy by engaging in Sankirtan, Japa, etc. But the Brahmachari, the Sannyasi and the Vanprastha, traditionally they avoid these 5 because the Brahmachari, Sannyasi and Vanprastha don't have a fixed home and they don't engage in cooking, etc. So that is why they avoid these 5. When a brahmachari stays in the home of a guru, in a gurukul traditionally, the guru is supposed to be a grihastha guru. Traditionally, the brahmacharis were under which guru? Grihastha guru. Bhagavan Ram, he went to gurukul, and Bhagavan Ram's guru, who was Bhagavan Ram's guru in gurukul? Vasishtha. Was Vasishtha sannyasi or Vasishtha grihastha? When Bhagavan Krishna went to Gurukul, who was Bhagavan Krishna's guru? Was Sandipani Muni sannyasi or grihastha? So traditionally, a grihastha guru is there for training the brahmacharis. Because a grihastha has adhikar, right to light the fires. And the brahmachari is to be trained under the grihastha guru for lighting the fires. A sannyasi does not have that adhikar for lighting a fire traditionally. So this, dear devotees, is for a grihastha it is there. And other than these 5 we should try to avoid, dear devotees, jiva himsa. These 5 can be counteracted by sankirtan, etc. But we should try to avoid jiva himsa as much as possible. Jiva himsa also means not trying to commit violence even against the trees. Many times we commit a lot of violence against the trees. If it is possible, dear devotees, I am saying it is not always possible in this part of the world, but whenever it is possible, we should try to waste as less paper as possible, dear devotees. For everything, if we start pulling out paper, and that paper has come from the dead body of a tree, dear devotees, we should try to reduce our wastage as much as possible. Secondly, even in day-to-day products that we use, for example, sometimes we use soaps, we use lotions, we use many products. Many of these products are actually made from himsa. So we should carefully check if the products that we are using contain ingredients which are born out of himsa. Sometimes even as devotees we fail to check if these products are born out of himsa. So they contain many products of himsa, such as glycerin. You know, glycerin is produced directly out of himsa. Gelatin is produced directly out of himsa. This, dear devotees, becomes an upashakha. Upashakha, it becomes jiva himsan. This is one of the upashakhas. So whenever possible, we should try to have cruelty free. Whatever it is very easily available in this country. What should we try to buy? Cruelty free. Because as much as we can avoid cruelty, that will be better for our process of bhakti. Jiva himsan, trying to avoid any sort of atrocity on any living entity, including the plants, is very helpful for the path of bhakti. So this we should very carefully note. Alright. Now Jiva himsan was the first one. Alright, then there was another one. Second one is, dear devotees, Nishiddha Achar. What is Nishiddha Achar? Forbidden behavior. Often a devotee, in front of the other devotees, they behave very nicely, but secretly they have many material desires. See, dear devotees, we are different. Many of us are different when the camera is turned on and when the doors of the temple open. And many of us lead a completely different life when we reach our home and we close our doors. There is sometimes a big difference between the life that we live when we are in front of another devotee and the life that we live when we are alone. So when we are alone, actually it is the test of our bhajan. So our bhajan, dear devotees, is truly shown with what we do when we are alone. And so when we are alone, sometimes some individuals may indulge in nishiddha achar, forbidden behavior. So this leads to a position from where one is unable to progress on the path of bhakti. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, there will come a point in every devotee's life when they will have to place a wager. You know what's a wager? It's like a bet. Not a bet, devotees don't bet, but they will have to select between one of the two options. Either I am going to continue with this life, or either I am going to change myself by associating with the sadhus. Somebody who continues to harbor material desires will not be seen on the other end of bhakti, will not be able to attain Krishna prema. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur composes a verse in the Madhurya Kadambini. I will sing, kindly repeat after me. Vishaya Vishta Chittana Vishwa Veshah Sudurataha Varuni Diggatam Vastu Vrajanna Indrin Kim Apnuyar. Vishay Avishta Chittanam, those whose chitta, heart is fully taken over by Vishay, material enjoyment. Vishnu Avesha, to engage the mind in thoughts of Krishna, Sudurataha, is far away from them. It will become impossible. Then he asks a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is a question whose answer we already know. Varuni Diggatam Vastu Vrajan Aindrin Kim Apnuyat. If an object is lost in the west, can you find it in the eastern direction? Please tell me, dear devotees, yes or no?
No.
So if a devotee is lost on the pathways of Nishiddhachar, secret sense gratification, will such a devotee be seen on the pathways of Krishna Prem? Answer is no. Sometimes we may think nobody is watching, so I am safe. But just because nobody is watching, we are not safe. Ultimately, whose loss is it going to be? Ultimately, who will not attain Krishna Prema? We will not attain Krishna. So dear devotees, if we wish to seriously advance on the path, there are many who may not wish to advance. So they think this is enough. What I did in this life is enough. Next life we will continue. Next life we will see where to continue from. Dear devotees, if that we have already given up on the path and accepted mediocrity as our bhakti, then to nothing can be said about it. But those of us who still have that fire burning in the stomach, that we want to attain the highest fruit from the tallest tree, for them it is very important that they should take it seriously. And those who have already mentally given up, what to say about that? A person doesn't die exactly at the time of death. A person dies when he thinks there is nothing remaining in life. So there are many dear devotees who are dead. Are we dead or are we alive? That is a question we have to ask ourselves. Because if we are alive, then we should do something about tackling these problems. This is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read.
Translation. Absorption in thoughts of Vishnu is far away from those whose hearts are absorbed in sense gratification. How can an object lost in the western direction be found by searching the east?
So this, dear devotees, is why we should avoid Nishiddha Achar. A devotee will have to place a wager at one point of time. Either I stop this or I continue with this. And those who place their wager on I will continue with this, they have accepted severe mediocrity on the path of bhakti. And those who decide to do something about it, they are the ones who will try to find higher association and try to overcome these problems. Now, dear devotees, there was a rule specified about Nishiddha Achar, that you should not indulge in forbidden activities. Forbidden activities, I will tell you examples of forbidden activities. Secretly breaking the 4 regulations. What are the 4 regulations? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit relationships. There are some exceptions, for example, for meat eating, etc. Some exceptions are given in Shastra. Please repeat after me. Deshabhange pravase cha Vyadhishu vyasaneshvapi Rakshe deva swadehadi Paschat dharmam samachare. Deshabhange. If the country is in a situation of extreme turmoil, if there is a war-like situation in the country. Pravase, if you are traveling in a place where you have no access to clean food. Absolutely no access to clean food. Vyadhishu, if it is required to save your life in a severe disease. Vyasaneshu, or if you have fallen into a great difficulty. Rakshe devasva dehadi, first protect your body. Paschat dharmam samachare, later you can continue dharma. So there are some exceptions to Nishiddhachar. In these situations, first you protect your body, later you can continue your dharma. So I will not just give a rule, a lofty rule, without giving the situations which have given some exceptions. So exceptions are only in particular situations. Deshabhange, what is the meaning of Deshabhange?
During a war.
War. When the entire country is in turmoil. Pravase, what is the meaning of pravas? Travel where no pure food is available. Vyadhi, what is Vyadhi? Disease, and you have to take some medicine which contains some impurity. Vyasana, you have fallen into a difficult situation in life. So Rakshe Deva Swadehadi, first you protect your body and then you perform the activities of dharma. Kindly read through.
Translation 1. When the country is overrun by invaders. 2. While traveling out of town. 3. In times of sickness. And 4. In times of great difficulty. One should first and foremost protect one's body, mind, etc. Later, in times of normalcy, one should revert to strict codes of dharma.
This, dear devotees, is what should be done in exceptional situations, and exceptional situations have been mentioned here. So the Smriti literature, Parshad Smriti, they mention the exceptional situations in which you can give a temporary halt to Nishiddhachar. Dear devotees, let's say there was no emergency, we were not in a difficult time, place, circumstance, just because of some forgetfulness, we ended up performing some Nishiddhachar. I will give you an example of this. For example, somebody at workplace offered you something to eat, maybe some candy, and you thought it's just a candy, and you ate the candy, and later you read the ingredient, it said processed in a factory which contains eggs. So dear devotees, suddenly you realize, oh my goodness, I did not intend to do Nishiddhachar, but somehow I ended up doing some Nishiddha Achar. It was not out of intention, but out of misfortune that I ended up committing Nishiddhachar. What atonement should we perform? Fast, alright? Huh?
Continue with activities of bhakti.
Continue with activities of bhakti. Alright. No atonement?
You can chant some extra rounds.
Chant some extra rounds.
You can't.
Huh?
Atonement impossible.
Atonement impossible.
The only solution is just continue chanting.
The only solution is continue. But Prabhuji said you can chant a few extra rounds. Prabhu, last I heard, chanting to counteract sinful activities is one of the 10 nama aparadhis, isn't it? I performed a forbidden activity. In order to counteract it, I will chant extra rounds.
But this is unintentional, Prabhu.
Unintentional, but still the desire is to counteract it, right?
We got the ball! It is for the game!
Okay. So, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, what is the Siddhanta? Please note, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says no separate atonement is needed. It's a direct verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Please repeat after me. Nishiddhacharato daiva prayaschittam tu nochitam iti Vaishnava shastrana rahasyam tadvidam matam. Nishiddha acharata, if forbidden activity occurs, daiva, by misfortune, not willingly. If by misfortune some forbidden activities occurs, prayaschittam, atonement, na uchitam. What is the meaning of na uchitam?
Not proper.
Is not recommended. Why? Because our existing practice of bhakti without any separate endeavor will take care of it. We don't need to separately endeavor anything for counteracting that Nishiddha Achara. Iti Vaishnava Shastranam Rahasyam. This is the secret of which Shastra? Vaishnava Shastra. Tad Vidam Matam. Only those who know Vaishnava Shastra know this secret. There is no separate atonement mentioned for a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava does not perform separate atonement. Bhakti Prayaschitta, Bhakti atonement or performing regular activities of Bhakti is the atonement for a devotee. No separate atonement, not even extra rounds are required for it, dear devotees. Because if we chant extra rounds for counteracting it, then there are 2 aparads waiting for us. What are the 2 aparads?
Chanting for
Trying to counteract sins on the strength of this is one. Another, dharma vrata tyaga hutadi sarva shubha kriya samyam api pramada. To treat the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra as one of the ritualistic activities for counteracting sins in the Vedas. These are 2 aparadas which are waiting for us. And they say, Acha, wow, wonderful. Huh? Now, because you are chanting for this particular purpose, so aparadas will be introduced in your japa, kirtan and smaran, and then advancement will not be fast and rapid. This is the translation.
You chant for purifying your consciousness, not to atone for sin. Only bhakti can atone. But sometimes you may feel some guilt. So for coming closer to the Lord, we can always chant.
If you feel some guilt, this guilt was also felt by a person named, what was his name? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shikhi Mahiti. Now I remember. Shikhi Mahiti was one associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shikhi Mahiti previously was one of the rulers in Bengal, and under him there was a Muslim boy And once he had that Muslim boy whipped because that Muslim boy had committed some mistake. Later that Muslim boy grew up and he became an important person in the government. And when that Muslim's wife saw on his back there is a mark of whipping, she asked, why is this mark? Said, this Shikhi Maiti, this Brahmana, he had me whipped in my childhood. She got very angry. She said, you should try to make him fall from the position of a Brahmana. How? Without telling him, feed him water from the pot of a Muslim. Because these Brahmanas, they immediately think that we have fallen. So they made an arrangement by which Shikhi Maiti accidentally happened to drink water from the pot of a Muslim. And then later it was told, "Arey, you drank water from the pot of..." Shikhi Maiti got the shock of his life. He said, I will leave this place now, and he went to Varanasi, Kashi. There the Pandits were sitting on the banks of Ganga, and he asked, what should I do? What atonement should I do? So they flipped the pages of the Shastra, said, atonement, only one atonement is there. You drink boiling hot ghee. But that will be the last thing I drink in my life. So this was suggested to Shikhi Maiti. Shikhi Maiti got, there is guilt on one side and there is the fear of losing your life on the other side. What use is getting rid of guilt if you lose your life? So Shikhi Maiti lived in guilt for a lot of time, and then he happened to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this guilt is not required. The forbidden activity was committed intentionally or unintentionally? Unintentionally. So don't keep any guilt about it. Guilt should be there if you have committed intentionally, not unintentionally. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your bhajan, your bhakti is the best prayaschit, is the best atonement. And bhakti for the purpose of attaining prema. Bhakti not for the purpose of removing negativities. Bhakti for the purpose of attaining prema. Because if we are using bhakti to remove the negativities, that is not the purpose of bhakti. The purpose of bhakti is Krishna prema. Removal of negativities is side effect. So this is the translation. Finally.
If an unwholesome activity occurs by some accidental misfortune, it is not at all advisable for a serious devotee to try and perform any atonement for it, because bhakti herself is the best atonement. This is the secret of all Vaishnava Shastras according to those who have studied them.
Yes. This is directly in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Shri Rupa Goswami's verse composed by him. So this, dear devotees, is the Vaishnava understanding of atonement. Right? So many times devotees say, oh, I performed some forbidden activity, I will chant extra for it. That means we are using our Harinam as a method to counteract sinful activities, and that very thought itself generates an aparadha. Harinam should be chanted only for one purpose. What is that purpose? For Krishna Pad. Not even for going back to Godhead. It's very important to understand. Those who are saying I am chanting 16 rounds so Krishna will give me a free pass for eternal Disneyland, back home, back to Godhead. Moksha is to be rejected when Gaudiya Vaishnavism truly begins. Initially we bring people on the path saying, come follow, and then you will go back home, back to Godhead, and you will live happily ever after. Dear devotees, tell me, is happily ever after the normal condition of a living entity?
No.
The living entity does not need constant happiness. The living entity always needs a mixture of emotions. Constant happiness will bore any living entity. The living entity also needs some sadness. But there is that variety of sadness which is very joyous available in the spiritual world. Right? So we don't need constant happiness, and constant happiness is not a normal condition of the human being. Please try to understand. Happiness and then little sadness, and then little happiness, then sadness. And in the spiritual world, sadness is also very joyous. It is a joy of a different type. I'll give by the help of an example. Technical term is rasa. The living entity is looking for what? Rasa. What is the direct literal meaning of rasa? Nectar. Juice. What does ras mean? Juice. Direct meaning of ras is juice. Now, I promise you there is not a single person in this assembly who doesn't like juice. Anybody who hates juice? Nobody raised their hand. You hate juice? Which juice?
Any juice, I don't drink any juice.
You don't drink any juice? You don't like any flavors?
Juice, no juice, but I can have the fruits or yeah.
Which fruit do you like?
Mango.
Mango. So you like rasa? Why? I thought I met the first exception in my life. Okay. Acha. Dear devotees, I will ask a few devotees which rasa you like. Which rasa do you like? Which juice do you like? You shouldn't take your by experience, which juice do you like? Pineapple. See, he has good choice. Dear devotees, I'll ask Rati Prabhu, which juice do you like? Mango. Rati Prabhu, I will give you 1 month supply of mango juice, but you have to drink only mango juice. Chalega? Okay? See, he is not agreeing to his favorite juice also. I am giving, see, Rati Prabhu who is unhappy plus mango juice equal to Rati Prabhu who is happy, isn't it? I am giving you 1 month unlimited supply of mango juice, but you have to drink only mango. And you are still saying no. Because it is not the normal condition of a living entity to be satisfied with the same ras. They need sanchari bhav, they need some transitioning of emotions. So, therefore, their devotees going back to Godhead is a concept which we have to understand in great detail. It is not eternal Disneyland, where we go and just remain in a state of euphoria forever. So, there is unlimited happiness, but the happiness has different shades in the spiritual world. Alright. So, dear devotees, the point which I was saying was that chanting of japa should be performed for attaining Krishna Prem. The purpose is not ultimately to go back home, back to Godhead. The purpose ultimately is to attain what? Krishna Prem. Going back to Godhead is Krishna's headache, where he wants to take us. Our headache is to ensure that we attain Krishna Prem. That is our headache. Alright, dear devotees, this was Nishiddha Achar. So we have covered Jiva Himsa and we have covered what? Nishiddha Achar. Then there is also Labh. Some people want to earn a lot of money through the path of bhakti. Dear devotees, there is a very nice verse about crookedness related to wealth in the Subhashit literature. Dear devotees, those of us who manage to end up earning a lot of wealth through bhakti, we will lose something. And we are going to lose big time. So this verse is in the meter Arya. Meter is difficult to sing, still I will try to sing. Please repeat after me. Kutila Lakshmir Yatra Kutila Lakshmir Yatra Prabhavati na Saraswati Vasati Tatra Prabhavati na Saraswati Vasati Tatra Prayah Shvashru Snushayo Prayah Shvashru Snushayo Nadrishyate Sauhridam Loke Nadrishyate Sauhridam Loke Kutila Lakshmir Yatra Vasati, where that Lakshmi who is very fickle-minded, where that Lakshmi stays, Prabhavati na Saraswati Vasati Tatra, Saraswati will not stay there. I hope you are able to understand. Wherever Lakshmi will stay, who will not stay? Saraswati. Lakshmi represents what? And what does Saraswati represent? So what do you want, dear devotees? Make a choice. In devotional service, what do you want? Bhakti, Shastras or you want Lakshmi? Oh, Hare Waha. The verse was written for this very purpose, Prabhuji. When I am in India, people ask me, Prabhu, how to balance material and spiritual life? Prabhu, how to balance material and spiritual? So I said, if you are looking for the standard answer, you have come to the wrong person. Huh? Anything worth living is worth losing your balance for. This is my answer to that. Huh? Anything which is worth living is worth losing your balance for. So you decide what you want. Kutila Lakshmi Yatra Vasati Prabhavati Na Saraswati Tatra. If you get a lot of Lakshmi, to the degree that you earn Lakshmi, to that degree you will lose Saraswati. Why? Prior, mostly it is seen, Shwashru Shnushayur, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law don't get along very well. So they are related as mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. Huh? Lakshmi is wife of whom? Vishnu. From Vishnu who was born? Brahma. And Brahma's wife is whom? Saraswati. So Saraswati is daughter-in-law, Lakshmi is mother-in-law. All of you from India know. I don't have to tell you. Okay? How mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So most of you are experienced in mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationships. So dear devotees, this is the relationship between Lakshmi and Saraswati. You make a choice. And if you are saying both, the verse says no. Both are not possible. At some point of time, you will have to lose your balance and decide in favor of one. So, in whose favor are we going to decide? That is up to us. Alright? Prabhu, kindly read the translation. Alright, after I'll ask you.
Wherever the crooked mother-in-law named Lakshmi, controlling deity of wealth, resides, the daughter-in-law Saraswati, controlling deity of knowledge, does not reside there. This is because usually one cannot easily find the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law getting along with each other.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah, Prabhu, you had...
Yeah, I mean, related to that, like Srila Prabhupada, okay, before he started Krishna Goswami movement, he was losing money when he was starting the business. But then, when he started engaging fully in Krishna service, then he got, I heard that there is a called Vaikuntha Vasini Lakshmi or the local Lakshmi. So the local Lakshmi, they say that this statement is true, but when you engage everything, all wealth in service of Krishna, then actually Vaikuntha Vasini Lakshmi will give you more Lakshmi to continue, as Srila Prabhupada got like thousands of...
Prabhuji, this is not about seva. This is about knowledge of bhakti. When Srila Prabhupada was in householder life, he had a big business and he would chant his 16 rounds in divisions of 4 due to lack of time. 4 in the morning, 4 in the noon, 4 evening and something like that. When Srila Prabhupada retired and the entire business was finished, he went to Radha Damodar and studied straight for 10 years. Because no Lakshmi, only Saraswati. Only Saraswati. But when he was in householder life, he was often struggling to find some time to read the books of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. But after he retired and the effort to earn Lakshmi was gone, then the efforts to study, of course, because we say he is Nitya Siddha, so he doesn't need to study. But still, for showing an example to us, he showed that actually in retired life, why did he take sannyas? A sannyasi means no botheration of Lakshmi, but Saraswati. He studied Vedanta Sutra in Radha Damodar temple with Govinda Bhashya, and Bhagavad Gita introduction he writes dedicated to Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan, who so nicely composed what? Govinda Bhashya. He could have dedicated the Bhagavad Gita to anybody, but he dedicated it to Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan. He studied for 10 years very well. Prabhupada preached for 11 years. For preaching 11 years, he did dedicated study for how many years? 10 years at Radha Damodar temple. So often we think we will balance and Vaikuntha Vasini Lakshmi will go. Yeah, she will come. But when she comes, she will come also with the added responsibility of seva. And at that time you will think, oh Saraswati Devi. I wanted to study more the works of Acharyas, the works of Srila Prabhupada. So that seva will not happen so easily. Right? So that is the intention of the verse. If we want to take the teachings of the Sampradaya very seriously, we need time. And time is not easily available to somebody who is dealing with money. Right? Okay. Then, dear devotees, there is Kuti Nati. What is Kuti Nati? Crookedness. Crooked behavior is of many types. I will highlight some main types of crookedness. First, let's take crookedness related to serving food, serving prasadam. Dear devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are known for a culture of having good prasadam, feeding good prasadam. Often, it is also seen that we are miserly in serving prasadam, as you can see on the screen. Dear devotees, when we feed others, if we feed other devotees, we should feed them by taking into account two things. First, whatever we feed them should be prepared freshly. First and foremost. I will tell you one small incident that happened with me. I went to a particular place and it was Ekadashi. Ekadashi, then I said, Acha, today is Ekadashi, what is there? Oh, we have sabudana. You know what is sabudana? Sago, we call sago. Sabudana. I said, oh, very nice, sabudana is okay for Ekadashi. And then the devotee who was serving, he said, yeah, we kept it in the fridge last Ekadashi. Suddenly, Nirjala Ekadashi seemed like a good option. Better to fast than to die, isn't it? So when we prepare something for the devotees, dear devotees, we should prepare according to the standards given in Bhagavad Gita. Food which is in the mode of goodness. That food is cooked, and consumed within 3 hours. That is the standard for gold standard which Srila Prabhupada used to follow. Srila Prabhupada never stored for 15 days and after taking it out from the cold storage and warming it again. This is not Prabhupada's standard. We should maintain the standard that Srila Prabhupada has given to us. And if some food is wasted, there are 83,99,999 species of life on planet Earth. The poor living entities are asking for food. We can anytime give it to them, dear devotees. But for feeding the devotees, we should always prepare nice food. Fresh. And secondly, there should be no miserliness. What is the meaning of miserliness? That at least one good serving should be given to the devotee. I hope you are able to understand. One good serving should be given. One full plate should be given to the devotees. We may not cook to have multiple servings, but at least one good serving, one full plate should be given. The Gaudiya Vaishnava conception of Prasad is different from the conception of Prasad in India. Other parts of India, Prasad means one peanut and one sugar. The Gaudiya Vaishnava conception of Prasad is you feed till the neck. So dear devotees, one time, there is a very nice Sanskrit verse, it comes from my state of Maharashtra. There was one, in weddings, usually what happens, people try to save as much food as possible. So there was a famous poet in Maharashtra, his name was Keshav. He went to a wedding and people were serving food. And you know how they serve food? Like very quickly. And wait. They were very quickly serving. So they served rice, dal, everything. And then came the person who was serving ghee. You put ghee on rice. So he came and he's very quickly serving ghee. And our poet, he looked, where is the ghee? And then he composed a verse, dear devotees, for this miserliness. This verse is Please repeat after me. Sancharini Kanchana Vallariva Vidyullatava Patitana Bhasta Vritasya Dhara Patitana Jane Divam Gatava Thabhavam Gatava. Person serving ghee came and quickly put ghee in this. And he doesn't. Arey, Sancharani Kanchana Vallariva. What was that? Was that a golden chain running away from me? Vidyullatava. Or did lightning strike from the sky and disappear in the ground? What was that? Vritasya Dhara. Arey, this stream of ghee. It went away so quickly. Patitana, where did it fall? Divam Gatava Thabhavam. Did it go back to heaven or did it go inside earth? Wherever it went, at least it didn't go on my plate. Dear devotees, save money but don't save so much money that we can't feed the devotees nicely. So, this is the translation, Prabhu.
The poet said to the ghee server, "Oh my goodness, what was that? Was that a golden chain running away from me? Or was that a golden flash of lightning falling from the sky? That stream of golden ghee, where did it go? Did it disappear in the sky or did it enter the earth? Wherever it went, I'm pretty sure that it did not fall on my plate of rice."
This is Keshav Sud, this Maharashtrian poet. See, the devotees, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Bengalis, they are sweet in nature. Whereas we Maharashtrians, we are little spicy in our behavior. So we sometimes give some sarcastic comments like this. So he made a sarcastic comment. So we should understand, dear devotees, that when we are serving others, one good serving should be given. One good serving should be given to devotee. That when the first serving they take, they should receive a quantity which will satisfy them. And then if we don't have sufficient, then we can say, well, please excuse me, but there was sufficient for one good serving only. That we can say. But at least one good serving should be given. If we don't give that, then it is very wrong. I remember it was my first day in an Iskcon temple. My first day in an Iskcon temple. I entered the temple and I wanted to associate with the full-time devotees, brahmacharis, and I was so happy. I attended Mangal Aarti, everything. Then it was time for Parshad, and after Parshad, I saw that there is some kulfi. You know what is kulfi? Actually. So I was not knowing that the kulfi is reserved only for some special donors. I just went and I asked Prabhu. So he said something to me in Hindi, which if I say it will not be appropriate for the audience, but I will translate in English. He said, "Your father is producing kulfi here." In English, the punch is lost.
We can translate it in Gujarati.
So those who know Hindi, you know what is the Hindi word for father? You know what was said to me. Now the part of India from where I come, we don't take such insults so lightly, dear devotees. So I immediately wanted to retort back, but because somebody had told me a big devotee and we should always respect, and so I maintained my composure. But I went in a very dejected mood to my senior devotee brahmachari and said, "These people, I will never come back to the temple. Because these people don't know how to serve properly. He said, don't worry, I will get you one kulfi. I said, I don't want your kulfi. My self-respect has been harmed. So, we should be little careful, dear devotees. The point is we should be little careful. Because if I would have gone away on that day without telling anybody, then it would have been difficult for me to continue on the path of bhakti. Alright, dear devotees, another type of crookedness is, another type of kutinati is fault finding. To always have the mindset, there must be something wrong with this person. I hope you are able to understand. It is a reflection of our heart, because we know there is something wrong with our heart. So if the most ideal place, which is me, has something wrong, then obviously others who are not so ideal must be having something wrong, isn't it? Because I am the king of the world and the universe according to me. And if I am living with this conception, and then if there is something wrong with me, definitely other people must be having something wrong. So tomorrow, let's say Rati Prabhu, sorry, I am targeting it. Tomorrow Rati Prabhu may be giving a lecture in the temple. I am sitting, acha. I could not find a fault in his kirtan. Today I will find a fault in his lecture. This, dear devotees, is crookedness due to fault finding, which is present in many of us. Shri Rupa Goswami has given a direct instruction that even if faults are seen, we should unsee them unless they are something major criminal faults. Alright? In Upadeshamritam he says something. Please repeat. This is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, same as Brahma Samhita. Drishtai svabhava janitai vapushascha doshai. Na prakritatvam bhakta janasya pasye. Gangam bhasam na khalu budbud phena pankay. Brahma dravatvam apagacchati nira dharmay. Drishtai, even if you see two types of faults, swabhava janitai, one fault which is born out of the nature of a devotee. Some devotee may be a little conjuice, miserly. You may see. Some devotee may be a little greedy. Some devotee may be, a little angry. Vapushascha dosha. If you see fault in the body of a devotee, na prakritatvam. Don't see materialism in them. They are still a devotee and they are still touched by bhakti shakti. Why example of Ganga is given? Dear devotees, Ganga becomes polluted in which season? Rainy season. But immediately after rainy season is which season? Autumn. And what happens to waters of rivers in autumn season? Clean. So right now the devotee may be like the waters of Ganga in rainy season. But immediately after rainy season, autumn season will arrive. But although the devotee's character may get cleaned, your criticism of the devotee on the internet will not get cleaned. So dear devotees, therefore this should be avoided at any cost. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
In this world, interesting the faults arising out of the nature or the body of the devotees, one should never perceive mundaneness in relation to them. These devotees are just like the waters of the Ganga that never give up their status as a spiritual liquid, merely due to the presence of apparent faults of water, bubbles, foam and dirt.
Yes. Dear devotees, we are gradually coming to the end of the presentation. Another fault is, another type of crookedness is to try and prevent other devotees from advancing on the path of bhakti. This crookedness is takes the form of Dhenukasur. Dear devotees, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that Dhenukasur represents an anartha of crookedness, because the donkey is not a straightforward, it is very crooked in its structure. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Krishna Samhita specifies something. There are some people who are Vaishnavas but who try to prevent others from advancing on the path of bhakti. How does that work? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Krishna Samhita, please hear, gross discrimination takes the form of the donkey named Dhenukasur. The donkey cannot eat the sweet palm tree fruits and he opposes others' attempts to eat them. The purport is that the previous acharyas of the authorized sampradayas have written many spiritual literature, which people with gross discrimination neither understand nor allow others to see. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses a very strong word, acts like devotees who are simply interested in regulative principles and are under the control of gross discrimination, are unable to attain a higher platform. Which higher platform? The platform of Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, he says, Vaishnava principles are so unlimitedly exalted that those who simply remain entangled in the regulative process, Vaidhi Bhakti, without endeavoring to understand the science of attachment, Raganuga Bhakti, are comparable to ordinary fruitive workers. This is the direct statement of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If we see a Vaishnava is advancing, don't try to put authoritarian obstacles on their paths. Acharya Nishta Prabhu, are you eligible? Don't try to fly too high, Prabhu. Keep your feet on the ground, Prabhu. Statements like these are indicative of the mentality of Dhenukasur. Unless we are somebody's guru, we don't have Shiksha or Diksha guru, we don't deserve the right to tell them how they should be advancing and how they should not be advancing. This, dear devotees, is crookedness in the form of Dhenukasur, Kuti Nati. And finally, one last type of crookedness is crookedness in terms of money and charity. Dear devotees, some people are most charitable. Do you know, dear devotees, who is the most charitable person in the world? Miser. Miser. You know, Prabhuji. Yeah, I gave the example. The most charitable person is the miser. This is the verse. Please repeat after me. Kripanena samodata na bhuto na bhavishyati अस्पृशन्नेव वित्तानि यः परेभ्यः प्रयच्छति कृपणेन समो दाता न भूतो न भविष्यति. There will never be a more charitable person than a miser. Why? Asprishan, without touching his wealth, he gives away to others. I hope you are able to understand. When he dies, he has not touched and given his wealth. Without touching it, he gives it to others. Acha, if while alive he would have touched it and given to others, at least he would have gotten the piety, punya of giving charity. But he is so charitable, he doesn't even want the punya. Punya also he gave away. This, dear devotees, is the meaning of the verse.
There has never been, nor will there ever be, any charitable person in the world as the miser. Just see, the miser gives away all his wealth to others, even without touching.
So the wealth is also gone. He donated his wealth, and he also donated the piety that he could have gotten. Can you find a bigger charitable person? No? Dear devotees, it is a sarcastic verse, Subhashit verse, which tells us not to be miserly. Charity should be given to appropriate people at appropriate time and appropriate place. Who are the most appropriate people for giving charity? The most appropriate people for giving charity in this world are those who are acting in the position of Vaishnavas, Gurus, Brahmanas. They are considered according to Shastra to be most eligible for giving charity. Those who are brahmacharis, sannyasis, acting as guiding lights of the society, those who are gurus for the society, they are the first, most preferable to be given charity. We should also give charity to the beggars. If we don't trust them with money, we should give them dravya, resources. We should give them some food. But charity, every grihastha must give. Otherwise, a grihastha will become very hard-hearted. The devotees, this is crookedness related to charity. In this way, we have covered. Let's check if we have covered all the Upashakhas. Nishiddhachar? Yes. Kutinati? Yes. Jiva Himsan? Yes. Labh, earning money? Yes. Puja Pratishtha? Yes. So, to some degree of satisfaction, we have covered the second cleansing of Gundicaa. Dear devotees, I hope, sincerely hope, that this, all of us, become the biggest misers in the world. Alright? But not that miser. Miser of Krishna Nam. Shri Rupa Goswami says in Padyavali, Vichayani Vicharyani Vichintyani Puna Puna Kripanasya Dhanani Va Vannamani Bhavantuna. A miser does three things with money. Please hear. Vichayani. Every day he is walking on the street, eyes are on the street. Where can I find $10? Where can I find $100 fallen on the... Nowadays you don't find because you use Zelle nowadays. So less and lesser dollars are seen on the street. But he tries to save as much money as possible. Vichayani. He collects. Second, Vicharyani. At the end of the day, he counts how much I have collected. And Vichintyani. Third thing he does is, he makes a plan how I can collect more tomorrow. Kripanasya dhananiva. Just as a miser does with his wealth. O Krishnatvan namani bhavantuna. Let us do with your names. Every day let me collect new names and relish them. Every day at the end of the day let me count how many names I collected today. And every day let me make plans to collect more tomorrow. The devotees, let us perform the three functions of a miser, not with money, but with Krishna's Naam. Prabhu, kindly read.
Oh Lord, just as a miser continually collects, counts, and meditates on increasing his money, in the same way let us continually collect, count, and meditate on increasing the chanting of your holy name.
Let us become this miser, dear devotees. Thank you very much. Once again, Manharani Mataji, thank you Jai Govind Prabhu for kindly opening the doors of your home. Thank you Hari Leela Prabhu for kindly organizing this series of talks. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit Vidvam Saha Purayantu Tat Yadatra Saushavam Kinchit Tat Guroreva Menahi. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit, if there is any mistake in what I spoke, Vidvam Saha, your learned devotees, Purayantu Tat. Please correct any mistakes. Yadatra Saushavam Kinchit. If there is anything nice in the talk, please remember, Tat Guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the families of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who appeared in the past, who will appear in the future, and who are in the present, including all of you are also my Gurujanas. It belongs to you. May nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
We have Prashad from Jagannath Puri and the flag from Jagannath Puri. Only those people who will stay here and eat the prasadam will be getting it.
We also have a crow from Jagannath Puri.
That's nice. So, because I know it's a working day next day and people must be in a hurry. So, unless you are in extreme hurry, I would like everyone to stay. And there is ice cream in the end, kulfi and... So, basically, whatever you like this was not pre-arranged. The conversation was not pre-arranged, but we had that.
Can I get kulfi Mataji?
She won't be miser.
We had a box. We have a box for you. So anybody on this side of the aisle has my whole box to them. Anybody on this?
There's no plan. This is a coincidence.
Yes, yes.
नहीं, I think.
आइसक्रीम भी खाएंगे.
Alright, Mataji, most important, do we have time for Q&A or should we start Prashad?
Prabhu, people can take prasadam and sit, and meanwhile we can finish the QA, because that way we can utilize that time very well.
Alright.
Right?
So those who are most eager for Prashadam, the line is there. And those who are most eager for asking questions, I am sitting here. So let me take for a few questions. We'll take. Anybody? Yes, Prabhuji.
So probably very nice class. Really nice. Thank you so much.
Dear devotees, if you are taking Prashadam, please maintain a little silence so that we can discuss. Yes.
So probably the first point when you raise it, that even Krishna coming from an unqualified person is also potent. How that statement we can reconcile with a statement of Bhagavatam that when the milk touched by the lips of a snake, although it is milk, but it is lose the potency. So Krishna Katha coming from an unqualified person.
That is not the verse. Because of not reading the original Sanskrit, this misinterpretation. The original verse is given in Shastra. Avaishnavamukhodgirnam bhutam harikatamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochishtam yatapayah. What is the term here? What is the main term here? Avaishnav. To hear from a non-Vaishnav. Not to hear from unqualified. A Vaishnava may say I am unqualified, but he is still a Vaishnava. The verse says a Vaishnava. To hear from a non-Vaishnava is what is not recommended. Now let's see here. What is the translation? One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava. So that is, when we read the original, we come to know what is the exact intention. Right? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question from Shri Bhagavatam, not related to this. Is that okay?
Sure, but can we take questions? I'll come to you, but let's take questions which are related. Yes.
So, Prabhuji, you mentioned about glycerin, right?
Yeah.
It's animal origin?
Glycerin is mainly animal origin. You can also find plant origin. If you can find, it is good. But most of the glycerin produced is from animal origin.
How about the land-made glycerin?
Lab, what is lab? Lab doesn't. Lab is not supreme personality. It gets its raw ingredients.
But whatever, like chemically,
Synthetically produced without animal cruelty is still good.
Okay.
But animal cruelty should not be. If you are certain about that, those products we can use. Yes, Mataji, then we'll come. I am not able. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Mataji.
So, two questions. One question, you said in the chanting, offensive chanting about so my question is, if we are asked
No, asking for Krishna Prema is not asking for ourselves. Why? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishnendriya Priti Ichha Dhare Prema Naam. So, Mataji, you can read.
So, okay, for Krishna's pleasure,
Prema is for whose pleasure? That is Krishna. Krishna's Rochamana Pravritti. Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita. What does Krishna like? That is Prema. So asking for Prema is not asking for anything selfish. Asking for Prema is in fact selfish for Krishna actually. We are asking for fulfilling Krishna's selfishness. Alright.
Regarding Parshad, like you mentioned, usually we don't like to grow. Of course, we have ability to we try to look at it like our Lord is 25, but no matter what, there will be left over. And growing the food, I feel bad because it's Parshad. But at the same time, food and all, how to take it?
If it is possible to compost it or something, you can turn it into compost where other living entities will eat it. That is best. Otherwise, when we throw something, any organic matter which is thrown also, some living entity is going to consume it. It's not going to remain like that. So, the point is, sometimes it is unavoidable. But if it is possible, in India you can do something, you can put it in Nirmalya. What is Nirmalya? Nirmalya is a separate bin only for holy items. And then it is kept under a tree and the living entities eat it and that. So if it is possible, that may not be possible here. But at least we should know that if it is unavoidable, at least we should know some living entities eat it. It will not be wasted. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Can we beg, borrow, steal for serving a Vaishnava? Can we beg, borrow, steal? That some Vaishnavas in the past may have done that. That is not the ideal standard. Because Sangha Tyaga Sato Vritte. Sato Vritti is to follow the behavior of the sadhus. So, unless we follow the behavior of the sadhus, how can we attain auspiciousness in life? So, sadhus' behavior is not to steal. That is living by honest means. One of the 64 limbs of bhakti is to consume only as much as one needs. By asking, not without asking. We should tell somebody, whosoever is in charge, that I wish to take this. They may have kept for somebody else. That poor person will start because we told without asking. Yes, sir.
The intention of chanting is to ask for also try to chant in the asking for purification of heart or more taste for holy name.
Chanting for purification of heart is still asking for something for oneself. Purification of heart is side effect. Tomorrow I will be speaking about it. The main gross anartha is lust. Tomorrow I will be speaking about it. What is the purpose of chanting? The purpose is not to purify my heart or something. Chanting is please give me Krishna prema. That's it. Good. Is it a prayer or is it a side effect? Please tell me. Cheta darpanam marjayatu. Please clean. That would be the prayer. Marjanam is it automatically happens. Cheto darpanam marjanam. The activity has already occurred. Bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. The fire of material existence is extinguished automatically. Shreya Kairav, the auspiciousness moon increases. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Anandambudhi Vada, the ocean of joy swells. Purnamrita Swadanam, every step there is an experience of nectar. Sarvatma Snapanam, complete cleansing of the soul. These are effects of performing what? Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. These are all side effects of prema. The main result is prema. I am not setting a rule. I am saying it is not recommended to ask. You can ask for anything, you ask money also. I am nobody to stop you. I am giving a recommendation. Chant for attaining prema. Because that is the main thing that is to be gotten. People chant even for Krishna pass me in my exam. That is, people look for chanting for many purposes. But the highest is to chant for attaining prema. That is the highest motivation.
That prayer, that meaning of the holy name to pray for attaining Krishna's side.
Oh Krishna, oh energy of Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. Not just any service. Which service? Loving service. Ultimately, what service do we want? Mechanical service or loving service? Yes,
talk about time is important. For stuff or here to give proper stuff. Just curious, in your case, I'm a year of the year. That's wonderful. How do you manage your time and work?
Sacrifice money. Sacrifice little money and get more time. There's no, people of the world will not allow you to earn money without sacrificing your time. That is the nature of the world. That is how people of the world are. So there is one thing which a devotee can say to them. A devotee can say, no, I don't want your money. The first job I went to, I'll give you a small example. They required the compulsory work hours of 48 hours in 5 days. You have to complete 48. It was an IT job I only did for 6 months. Normal. 48 hours in 5 days. No, in India it was 48 hours for 5 days. So I went to my boss and said, can I ask you for a small favor? He said, what? Can you change the system for me and for me only make it 40 hours? He was shocked. He said, why 40 hours for you? People want to work extra so that they can get... you are the one who is coming and saying instead of 48 hours make it 40. Because that, I was not happy with 48 hours. So I said to him, you pay me less accordingly. Because that my mindset was, that was clarity was there. You pay me less, I don't mind less money, but I want more time. I made make a choice. Because balance doesn't work. You have to make a choice. Krishna doesn't have his prem, but the japa of Mahamantra has Radha's name more prominently in it. So Hare is more in number in the Mahamantra than Krishna or Ram. Obviously, she is Radhini Shakti. Bhakti is function, vritti of the Swarup Shakti. So she is the one. Krishna has many conditions to give. And it is said about Krishna, Muktim Dadati Karichit Spana Bhakti. He will give Mukti, but he will not give Prem. Prem we have to struggle with him. But when we have Radharani on our side, and then her mercy comes to the mercy of her associate, then maybe it becomes easier. Yeah, obviously. I showed yesterday, devotees of Vishnu are called Vaishnavas, devotee of Krishna are called Parshnas, and devotee of Shri Radha are called Gaudias. Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Actually, we are devotees of Shri Radha. Oh, one last question.
सबको एक एक कप
For good grades, what should how do you refrain from all that? By understanding that chanting for all that is leading to Namamrata. Should we use Bhagwan Naam as one of the ritualistic auspicious activities mentioned in the Vedas? That is one of the apras, right? You should study the 10 apras and not use Bhagwan's Naam as... There are many things in the Vedas for increasing your intelligence and buddhi and getting good marks. Why use Harinam for that? So once you have a proper understanding of 10 Naam apras, then we will not use Harinam as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities for attaining material benefit in life. Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
તમે રેકોર્ડિંગ તમે પાસે રાખો છો રેકોર્ડ કરેલું મને આપજો કોપી તો